Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sociology 101 for summer 2018. During our class, I will be providing you with short 15 minutes or shorter lectures each week by Wednesday. And this is our first one. Each week when you begin listening to the lecture, also you will go to the Canvas window and look under the module for the week that we're currently under, like now we're in week 1, and look for the week 1 lecture quiz. You will complete the lecture quiz for each week as you listen to the lecture. This is a quiz that you don't have to study for. I'm going to give all the answers during the lecture. It's just a way that I can make sure that you've listened to the lectures. So complete the lecture quiz as you listen to the lecture. Usually it's over all 3 videos, and you do have 3 videos today. But for this week only, the lecture quiz all the answers will be given in the first video. Okay, so if you need to, go ahead and pause and go ahead and grab your lecture quiz and come back when you've got it. So a little bit about me. This is me in the top right-hand corner. My name is Lori Deshoney. I've been teaching sociology for about 12 years. I've been teaching at Ohlone College for about 5.5 or something now. And I also teach at one other university in Southern California. I teach some online classes. I live in Berkeley, California. I have one son who is in the lower right-hand corner, and I have one dog who's in the lower left-hand corner, and her name is Ivy. So the first question that I've asked, oh no, I can't remember if I think that I gave the question is the name of my dog, which is Ivy, or it might say, do I have a dog? And yes, I have one dog. In the top left-hand corner is me and my dad and my son at a Giants game, freezing like it is there. This was a few years ago. So I teach on campus, and you might have seen me around campus before. I'm on campus every semester except for the summer. And I love my job, and I love Ohlone College and working with Ohlone College students. Okay, so hopefully you got the first quiz question, because we're going to move on. I'm about to give you another one. So we have only one required material in this class. It's a textbook called You May Ask Yourself, 5th edition, and the author's name is Dalton Conley, and that is the answer to your second quiz question. So go ahead and mark Dalton Conley. There will be other weekly readings and videos that will be listed on Canvas over the course of the 6 weeks. So keep your eye out for them. They are required for doing well in the class, but there's nothing else that you actually have to go out and purchase. And just so you know, there is a copy of the textbook in the library in the Fremont campus, and it's on reserve, so you can go there and borrow it for I think up to 2 hours at a time. I do expect everybody to have the textbook in hand by the first week of class, and if you don't, you're going to really fall behind. So this is such a short class. We have only 6 weeks to cover 16 weeks worth of material. And so reading is very, very important in this course. And keeping up with the reading is the way that you will do well in this course. So these are the weekly requirements, or these are the requirements for our class. We have weekly lectures and lecture quizzes. The pre-recorded lectures will be made available on Wednesdays or earlier. And then you can go ahead and do your lecture quizzes, which are worth 5 points each. We also have response journals every week, and I'll be talking about those in more depth in a minute. We have discussion boards. Oh, I have a mistake on here. It says 6 out of the 8 weeks in the course, but it's actually 5 out of the 6 weeks in the course. There are 2 parts. The first part is due on Thursday, and the second part's due on Saturday. And then we also have a midterm and a final. So let's go over these in a little more depth. You can find the recordings under each week's modules. So the lecture for week 1 is in the week 1 module, and the lecture for week 2 is in the week 2 module. Lectures are mandatory. You must listen to them, and the reason for that is because the content is important for course success. It will not be possible to pass your exams without listening to the lectures and taking notes on them. So you may listen to them at any time that you choose, any time before Saturday of the week that they're given. It's best to listen to them, though, before Thursdays, because I often talk about the discussion assignment, and that's due on Thursday. So I often give help and instructions for the discussion assignment in the lecture. Lecture slides are made available a week after the lecture. So the week 1 lecture slides will not be made available this week. They'll be made available next week. We have 6 lecture quizzes, so there's lecture quizzes every single week. They are each worth 5 points, and they're worth 30 points total towards your final score. The purpose of them is to make sure that you've listened to the lectures. They are 5 very simple questions each, like the name of my dog, for instance. There's no studying needed. So you take the quiz while you listen to the given weekly lectures, and I will give you the answers as we go along. So again, to get the lecture quiz, you go to the module, go to whatever week we're in, and then look under this week's assignments or under the lecture heading, and there will be the lecture quiz, and it should open in a new window. So those are each week. So we have response journals every week as well for all 6 weeks of the class. For 5 out of the 6 weeks, for the first 5 weeks, weeks 1 through 5, these are short exercises which will build on what you've learned from the lectures and from your readings. They are 100% private. Nobody will read them but me. Although they're posted, online, they're private and only I will see them. So there are 6 journals. 5 of them are the short kind, but the final one in week 6 is what I call an extended response journal. It's longer. It's 2 to 3 times longer than the ones in weeks 1 through 5. It's more like a little paper, around 1.5 pages long. So that will open up early. I guess I forgot to say that I always open up the next week's module a week early. So I will be opening up the week 8 response journal, the week 6 response journal during week 5. So you can get a jump on that and start working on it in week 5. So the weeks 1 through 5, those journals are worth 10 points each, and the extended response journal in week 6 is worth 20 points. All right, and so we have 5 discussion boards over the course of our 6 weeks. So we have discussion boards every week during the course except for the last week, week 6, and that's because we have the extended response journal and also that week is short. It ends on a Thursday, so there's not really enough time to do the discussion board that week. The discussion board really is an important component in the course. It's where you can ask questions, interact with your peers, you can ask me questions there, and start to talk about and have a conversation about sociological concepts. It's one of the most important things I want to tell you today is that there are two parts to each discussion board. Part 1, which is when you write your main post, is due on a Thursday. And part 2, where you write your responses to your peers, are due on Saturdays. But the important thing is that Canvas only alerts you to the Saturday due date. So you must keep track of the Thursday due date each week by yourself. Don't rely on Canvas to send you a notice about that due date, because they won't. So if you are late on your Thursday due date, I will take 2 points off of whatever score you were going to receive for being late. So part 1 is where you write your main response to whatever prompt is given. And then part 2, you will continue the conversation according to the instructions. The discussion boards, they're too difficult if the whole class takes part altogether. So I've divided you into 5 discussion groups of 7 to 8 people each, and you will stay with that discussion group for the first 3 weeks, and then I'm going to see how it goes. I may change them or I may not change them after the midterm. So the interaction is mainly student to student. You'll be teaching each other and talking with each other, but I will weigh in here and there and take part. If you respond to me or a comment that I make, you will get credit as if you responded to one of your peers. Discussions carry the most points. They're 20 points each, 120 points total over the course of the semester. So let's see. I just gave the answers to both questions 3 and 4. So the answer to 3 is all of the above, although I didn't say that you should be respectful and courteous at all times. Hopefully that's implied. So the answer to question 3 is all of the above, and the answer to 4 is that you respond to 2 of your classmates for part 2 of your discussion boards. All right, and then we are in the last thing here. So we also have a midterm and a final. The midterm is going to be, it's in week 3, just 2 weeks away. It begins Thursday, July 5th, and will be open for, is it 60 hours? I think it is 60 hours from 12 noon on Thursday, July 5th to 11:59 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday, July 7th. So that's the day after the 4th of July. The midterm covers weeks 1 through 3, and there is a study guide already available now. The final begins on Tuesday, July 24th. It will also be open for 60 hours, so it will open at 12 noon on Tuesday, July 26th, and will stay open until 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, July 28th, which is our last day of class. The final covers weeks 4 through 6 and is not cumulative. You don't have to include weeks 1 through 3 are not included in the final exam. I will make a study guide available in week 4 for the final exam. Once you begin the exam, so having it open for 60 hours doesn't mean you get to take 60 hours to take it. What it means is that you can choose any time during that time period to begin it. But you will have 60 minutes to take each one. There are 40 to 50 questions, and that's your number 5 quiz question.